Welcome to you all. My name is Vishal, and this is our BIM session for ISO 19650. You all are welcome today, and this is our inaugural session. We have been doing book club for quite a years now. It started 2020, and which was with an FPA 72. We are still doing that session, and today we are starting with BIM. I teach BIM in about a university, UK's. Give me one moment. Let me just check something here. Yeah. So I teach for MSc construction students, which is a course run in Alberta University in their Westwood campus in UAE. And I teach there. And there was my community, which is a WhatsApp group of nearly more than 600 people. They wanted to have BIM sessions as well. We are coming up with MBC sessions as well very quickly, very soon. They wanted to have BIM sessions too. So I said, what's the problem? Let's do it 15 minutes a week. Our concept is micro-learning, bite-sized learning, 15 minutes or half an hour a week. We are working professionals. We do not have the luxury of sitting in the classes and studying for long hours, do we? I'm pretty sure your answer for that is no. And we will begin our session just after these messages. Stay around. Welcome to you all. Welcome back to our session. Just give me a bit. I'm just doing a technical check. Perhaps our colleagues on our Zoom session is not able to see our video now. They were able to hear me, and now they will be able to see us as well. I'm pretty sure we are doing good on LinkedIn. I can see there, and we are live on YouTube as well. Wow, so many places. Again, to study BIM. Take out 15 minutes of our time from everyday hustle and bustle in a week and study bit by bit, small bit by bit. We don't have the luxury of studying too much. We don't have the luxury of studying. I don't have it. Perhaps you might have it, but I don't have it. And most of the people in our book club do not have it as well. So what are we going to study? We're going to study ISO 19650. We're going to study, in addition to, we will not be studying, and I will come back to you in a bit. Let me just grab your attention into our this is our session number 1 for BIM or ISO 19650. You are more than welcome. This is the book club. We are learning together. I might be wrong. You can correct me. You might be wrong. I can correct you. That's the purpose of this. We are not perhaps reading a book over here, because BIM is scattered around as a concept, as a standard on many fronts. It has a front of completely softwares. We're going to see that as well, and there are many fronts of it. So we're gonna look at evidence-based learning. Whatever I'm going to show you, whatever concepts I'm going to share with you, would have a reference, most probably Harvard-style referencing. If I'm showing you a visual, and it will come from a paper, I will share that paper with you as well. Of course, the link, but not the real paper itself. You can always go online and look at the paper and find the information out yourself. So that is what we're going to do. So as a book club, the emphasis, now this is India centric, as an emphasis of, give me a bit, somebody's writing something in our chat box, and Zoom, no, they're just sending a message at this very moment. I've got your message, Dr. Emmanuel Ebo. You're perhaps going to write me down to on NFPA at vishal.net.in, and we can see how we can discuss further. That's the message for our colleague from Ghana. Very welcome to you. You're seeing somebody who's live from India at this very moment. Coming back to NBC 2025, which is the Building and Life Safety Code of India, it's in a draft at this very moment, and there we have got an emphasis on having BIM-based submissions to the authorities, which means it's becoming important day by day. And so we keep doing technical tips every week. So we call it Tech Tuesday, and the second thing that we do is Thursday trivia, wherein the idea is the same. Bit by bit, little by little, we learn things, and from reliable resources. Now, I'm an NFPA instructor, so yes, I can discuss NFPA 72. Authorized instructor, let me put that word there, and of course, I'm teaching BIM in one of the reputed universities in the UK. And that's where my knowledge comes from. That's where I draw my credentials from to conduct these sessions. So that's the for as far as the local in terms of my own country is concerned. That's the significance of having learning BIM. So we also do Thursday trivia, as I was saying. So we have done 113 and 114. We will be discussing this every week. Next week we will not be having a session since I'm traveling, and maybe we will run a pre-recorded video of the same thing again on our channel, on our YouTube, and of course on LinkedIn as well. And but they will not be a live session. So we will very quickly move in to what are we going to do in ISO 19650. I very shortly say it, and it's going to be every Friday. 21, 15, 100 hours plus 0530 hours GMT. What are we going to do? We're going to see core ISO 19650 concepts. Now BIM is a more process, and when it comes to process, it's more or less like management. And for some reason, management and computer people, when they get together, they start using many acronyms. So I will be throwing around many acronyms to you. If you don't get them, don't be shy. Type it into your chat box and say, hey Vishal, what does that mean? And I will give you a resource as well where you can go and look at those acronyms, because as far as I'm concerned, my way of learning is visual. And it has been proved that nearly 60% of the people, they like to read and learn things visually. Visually, they want to learn, right? So if I show you a video, you would be able to perceive, if you're a visual learner, you would be able to perceive and retain that information for a longer time as compared to you just reading through it. So that's our purpose, okay? So we were studying some core concept, responsibilities, what is the information workflows, practical implications for real projects, and how business strategy can be embedded into your workflows with use of ISO 19650. Now that's very important. I come from a management background as well, an engineer, of course, and a management as well. So when it comes to management, you want to see that the shareholders, you all are stakeholders. If you're working in a company, you all are stakeholders, but there's shareholders who are given capital to the organization to run their daily ho-hum. They want to see how you are transforming the goals that they have set up by using standards like ISO 19650, 9001, 14,001, 45,001. These are standards that tell you these are the best practices. If you do, you would be reaching to the goal that you're looking for, that you want to achieve, right? And that is what we will try to do that. We will try to look at how it aligns with that. So there is something called balanced scorecard. So if your organization is having that growth pains at this very moment, you know what happens is, especially if you're a startup or a smaller company, when I say smaller, I mean no disrespect to the size of a company or the number of people that are working. What I mean to say is you have smaller earnings as compared to, let's say, if you're doing 100 billion, you're a smaller company to a company that is doing 500 billion, right? So you need to, I'm talking in those terms with no due disrespect to you. So, and you have this, the companies have this growth pains. And how do that growth pain goes off? Because people are not aligned with each other. The company has a strategy. There comes new a new strategy from the organization. It's given to the managers. It does not percolate to the ground level, and it does not work. So that is where we will see how your organization can use a leverage, especially if you are in build environment and an engineering company. How can you can leverage and bring all these into your business strategies and business workflow day by day. You will see a transformation in your company, and I've done it myself. I've done it for a company who had at least five kind of business separate: trading, contracting, across the table trading as well, construction, manufacturing. So and we brought them together under one umbrella, and we ran their balanced scorecard as well. So we will be sharing all those concepts. Now let's remind ourselves again: standards are standards; they are not rule books. So which means if ISO 19650 says something, and for your company something else works, which is very much near to what ISO 19650 says, go for it. Do it. At the end of the day, you should be able to achieve what you want to do. What we will not cover, and that's very important part, what we will not cover is specific products. We will not go into softwares. I will not tell you how to model a building. I will not tell you how to visually do that, how X software does, Y software does. Yes, for drawing examples, I might take examples like for Rivet does it this way, or XYZ does it this way, or whatever, okay? And we will not do software tutorials or modeling commands. So that's out of the picture. So what's the need of BIM? If you look at that small hutment, and that's how I start my class as well. I look at that hutment. That is the that you see on your screen at this very moment. Let me switch back. It's the most primitive and the most basic building structure that one can build. 4 pillars, a slanting rooftop on top of it. Look at it, what kind of visual information you have. The visual information you have that the walls are done with mud. It has a plastering of mud, or perhaps cow dung, I don't know. So the doors are made of wood, right? Because of the texture that it has on it. The ceiling is made of dried grass, which is perhaps available very economically in that particular locality. And then I have a fence around as well, right? To let fresh air in, I have a few windows also there. So that's your visual information that you got as we were discussing. Now these were very basic drawings that we used to do. Remember the days. Those of you who have not seen how the engineering drawings has evolved itself, and we'll see, we're gonna overshoot our time today. I'm pretty sure about that, and I want you to bear with me, and I'll take a permission to do that because there's a lot more to discuss. So you will see that when we started doing drawings, we were using pen, we were using paper, pencil, drawing boards, and then came the engineering ruler, or we used to call it engineering scale, perhaps. And there used to be long, big rooms of draftsmen sitting in that room. If there's a project going on, everyone doing the drawing, one sheet going from one table to another table, another table, another table. That was the manual way of doing it. Sometime around 1970s came up the concept of CAD, computer-aided design or drawing. And what they started doing is they started doing on computers. Computers were making those straight lines very easily, and there you go. We moved into drawings, and then we will look at an illustration which comes from one of the articles that I've read very recently, and I will show you that link as well. And that is how the whole thing evolved. So, but today the buildings are very complex. Okay. The buildings are very complex. You can look at this building. It looks very futuristic. You can see, it seems like there's some kind of UFOs landing on the balcony of the building, right? Looks like that. And they have a solar panel as well. If I may draw your attention, my bad. If I draw your attention over here as well, right? Then you have some kind of pods over here, some kind of fancy lights, right? You look at the facade, it's all glass. You look at, there's some vegetations also there, right? And you can look at the facade over here. It's all glass. It's all glass. Difficult to maintain temperature, right? Difficult to maintain. If this building is nearby uh, ocean, it's bearing a lot of wind loads as well, right? So the buildings are becoming very complicated. It's not that easy as our primitive hutment that was there, right? So we need to have these. We need to have a lot of information. Now, what you can see over here is number one is your visual information, right? Which is the glass. And then there is non-visual information. You will say, Vishal, what's that? I mean, come on. One is visual and one is non-visual. So the non-visual information is, what is the grade of this glass? What is the fire rating of this glass? What is the durability of this glass? What is the thickness of this glass? That's called information modeling. Voila. If you ask me, I've already done the whole class, if I'm not wrong. So that's the visual and non-visual information. Now, the other non-visual information can be is the egress path, the calculation that was done for it. Is this small door good enough for this big building, right? That's another thing. Okay, so everyone is interacting now. This building is looked at by various stakeholders, and I will show you those stakeholders. You can see all those stakeholders. If I missed out anyone out there, don't feel bad about it. It's just my memory was not working at this very time. It's about the build environment. You have your owners, developers, you have architects, you have general contractors, also known as the civil contractors. You have your subcontractors, you have project managers. Some places they have program managers if it's a big project. Engineers, surveyors, inspectors, suppliers, regulatory authorities, facility management, demolition specialists. Of course, I'm talking about the demolition specialist. Why? Because building has an timeline. It has to be demolished after some time, right? So all these people look at this building in their own way. Okay, at which level they are, they would be looking at this information in a very different way, which suits them very well. Okay. Okay. So, and I will take an example of your brick that goes into the wall, and you will see that as this brick during the progression of the building construction goes to the owner or developer, he's worried about how many they need, architect, what is the property, subcontractors, can I drill my anchor bolts into it, how durable it is, right? And the demolition specialist wants to know what kind of environment impact it has. And all this information, trust me, your colleagues, can be embedded into BIM. Okay. And that is what we're going to study throughout our 15-minute session in these many days. And that's the overall history that I was talking about. On the bottom, you can see the reference where we got this thing from. Okay, and I think I would be blocking it. Okay, there you go. You should be able to see it now, right? So that's the reference. Okay, and thanks to Notebook LM, we got this beautiful illustration that more or less tells about the timeline that we have. Like I told you, 1970 1990, it's called the pre-BIM era, where we were doing most of the drawing on CAD by hand or by CAD, and then we moved on to give me a bit. Let me just zoom in for you so it's easy for you to read. Yeah, then we moved on to there was something called philosophical shift in 1994, where they wanted buildings to be as a process. And 2000 came up BIM, Building Information Modeling. That is when it was. See, some of the documents say 2002, some of the documents says 1980, 1980s, sometime like that. So I'm not able to pinpoint it, but I will look at more better resources. Perhaps anybody of you want to chime in and say what was the exact date. I'm more than happy to announce it over here. Okay, so that's the overall. Then some of the governments, especially in the European Union or out of the European Union, but sitting very next to European Union, came up with a great push towards it, and that is where the British equivalent or came up as the PAS 1197, if I'm not wrong, right? Let me just check that for you. Give me a bit because I think it's 1197. I don't want to. Anybody wants to add on to it? Yeah. So around that time, they came up with this concept. Okay. Pass 1197 British. So the idea is that at that time, okay. Okay, I will share that in the chat box. Perhaps I don't have. I'm not able to get the exact number here, but the idea was that was the beginning where the ISO 19650 came up. So ISO 19650 is written in the International Standards Organization language, but uh, the the PAS, that is publicly available standard or specification, uh, is initially developed before it comes and graduates itself into ISO. And that is where the British started, and that is what the lead was taken by the from the British from BSI, right? And later on, it graduated into ISO 19650, and that is where the mandates and everything came up. Then they started talking about thinking about beyond 3D, which was the visual information. They wanted money also. They wanted time also to be evaluated. And when we talk about 3D, 4D, 5D, 10D, 20D, 10D, I mean, there's no specific definition of all these. It's only an industrial understanding, unsaid understanding that if it's 4D, it means money. It means time, and when it's 5D, it's all about money and your control and all. So and then in 2018, the ISO more. Okay, Emmanuel says, "Can we?" Emmanuel, this thing is on the on my YouTube channel as well as on the LinkedIn. I will share you the link uh, in in a while. Okay, in our chat box, and you can also join our WhatsApp group. Um, when the closing session is coming, on the bottom right, you will see a QR code. You can scan that, and you might want to write down uh, the WhatsApp group link as well. So it's called tinyurl.com/book club WA. W as in whiskey, A as in alpha. So tinyurl.com/book club, one word, WA, one word. Okay. So you might want to click on it, and you're more than welcome to look at this video as many times you want. So that's pretty much it for today. I'm glad that we were able to complete a lot of time. We went beyond the time actually, but that's the inaugural session. So we wanted to make sure that we have our we are on the same page. We will not be having our next session. It might be a recorded session that will come, which is next Friday. However, next to next Friday, we would be all together meeting again. If you have any questions here, people who are on Zoom, you might want to type in your question, or you want to, or if you might want to unmute yourselves. People on Zoom, you can more than welcome to do so, and you can ask your questions, or you want to give a feedback in terms of something that you were not expecting, or that's something that you want to correct. because that's how we roll here. Okay. So I guess there's no question out there. Everything is good, and we will conclude our session. You have been a very awesome audience. Up until the next week, take very good care of yourself and keep jogging your memory on the BIM concepts. Take care. Bye bye.